good morning. It's another episode of Tech for Seniors. This is the 11th of May, and this is the 7th edition of Tech for Seniors. Wow. I'd like to welcome my co-host back again, Hewie Poplock. Hewie,
hello, everybody.
And I want to thank Bob G for keeping up the security. Bob has a security tip for us, sponsored by Avast. Thank you, Bob. That's great. I also wanted to thank, I don't know, is Roberta Witherspoon with us?
Yeah, she's here.
That's great. Thank you, Roberta, for doing the minutes last week. We were able to incorporate those in the audiovisual YouTube video, and if you look below, you'll see all the minutes of our meeting, which was great. So hopefully, Roberta, you could do that again for us today and just send them along to Hewie or myself, and we will include those in the taped version. If you look in the chat box, you'll see that I did put a link to all the prior versions. So if you want to go back and look at any of these or send them along to anyone, that's fine. I also put the link to the two videos that will be that I'll be showing today, and you can watch those as they're already uploaded onto YouTube. So welcome everybody. We have a good group today of 66. We've got a lot to cover, so we're going to get going. I'm going to talk for a little while, and then Bob's going to give us an update on security, and then we will have Hewie talk for a while, and then I'll talk for a while. And was Dewey? Did Dewey get admitted? Is Dewey here?
Yeah, Dewey's on here somewhere.
Oh, good. Dewey's here because Dewey's going to talk a little bit as well at the end. So we've got a busy meeting for you. So let's. I'm just going to share my screen. We'll get this. Everyone can see, and we'll just move. And we'll just move this bar out of the way. So I wanted to talk to everybody and tell you how my sourdough culture is going. We'll start off with this. Most of you couldn't probably see this last week, but this was the raisins that I got. And I was hoping to have some bread baked today to show everybody, but it didn't sort of work out that way. These were the raisins that I put in with some flour and water. And that was the flour that went in, and that was the initial culture starter that started, and that sort of went for a while like that, and that's what it is today, and that was this morning. And if you look at it, you can start to see a few of the little bubbles forming, and hopefully by next week we will have some sourdough bread, and then I can. Oh, and I have to show you here, I think this was Jim Copeland's bun that he had this morning. He said that these are the best cinnamon buns. He said, I'm just letting you know that we're sitting down with coffee and donuts. He said these are from the Tuck Shop cinnamon bun, thanks to his daughter who made these, and she got the recipe from the University of Alberta Tuck Shop. So well done, Jim. I'm sort of envious on that, but hopefully I'll get some stuff baked for next week. So anyway, that's sort of where we were with that. Now I'm gonna just. I think I'll probably leave my screen shared, and then we can. I'll leave that on there. I'll leave the bun on there so you can look at the bun rather than me. And so we had one question sent in this week, and it was from Keith Henry. I don't know if Keith's here. Is Keith online? He said, hello, yes. My name is Keith Henry, and I'm enjoying Monday Zoom meetings. Great. And he's from Southern California. My question is about using Zoom on a PC. My girlfriend and I take virtual trips with YouTube videos. She is the Zoom host. We play a video and share her screen. For me, the video is always choppy, more like pictures rather than a smooth video. And he was wondering what the cause of this was. So my answer, Keith, would be this, and if anyone has any other ideas. First of all, the whole thing about Zoom and internet is the speed of the internet. And it is most likely that your connection just isn't supporting this. I'll tell you some things in Zoom that you can do that might be helpful, but on the internet, we have upload and download speeds. And for most part, the download speeds are fine, but it's the upload speed which is slower and usually gets you into trouble when you're trying to run videos across the internet. Now, with the tremendous use of internet, most of the cable providers are pretty stressed out about providing the bandwidth that they said they're going to do. In fact, in my situation, I had my package with 75 megabits download and 5 up. And the problem is that in certain periods, particularly this time of day, that dramatically got reduced on that plan. So I had to get a new plan, and I now have 300 download and 15 up. And that same problem you had went away completely. So I think you really need to look at your plan and decide what plan you're doing. The other thing that's helpful is if you download the YouTube video, if you're going to play and you're going to play a YouTube video, I also find it helpful to download the video onto your own PC and then play it from your PC. I think that's probably the best way to do it. In the Zoom settings, when you zoom on, it says that you want the video on your PC to be optimized for Zoom. Whether that works or not, I think Dave Williams and I talked about that, and he doesn't use that setting. He doesn't find that it really is very helpful. I don't turn that setting on myself. You could play around with it. Bob, you don't use it either. You never turn that on, do you?
No, I don't, because it seems to do worse than better.
Yeah, so I think the answer to your question really is probably your internet speed, and I think you really need to have a look at that, particularly your upload speed, and see what speed you have. Does anyone have any other questions?
Ron? Yeah, Ron, let me, Ron, can you hear me?
Yeah, Dale, go ahead.
You're absolutely correct about the speed. That's what's causing the stuttering on streaming, especially if you're doing it on an upload basis because of the speed. What you might try is using a cell carrier hotspot. I have found that most cell carrier hotspots on a regular plan has a much better upload speed than cable carriers or other ISP providers. So if you have a hotspot, try to connect with that and then see if that helps on your uploading videos.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Val. That's great.
Thank you.
Yep, that's good. All right, let's move on. I wanted to talk about an article that I sent out this week, and I don't know if everybody's got this or you've seen this, but this is about Fitbit. This last year, I did a number of presentations on saving your life with wearable technology, and we talked about the Apple Watch a lot, and particularly its ability to prevent stroke by identifying atrial fibrillation. And we went into this in a long way, and you can see the video. It was made into an APCU video, but it is interesting that Apple is just cleaning up on this. They sold 29.5 million watches in the last quarter of 2019, which was a 200% increase over the same quarter the year before. So Apple is really, this is very profitable for Apple. Now, coming up close on Apple's heels is Samsung, and that's with their Active 2 watch. But what was interesting, and also you know that Google bought Fitbit this last year. Now, and Fitbit, of course, didn't really have the medical technology or the capital to be able to really change the company around and be a competitor to Apple. So Google made some big changes, and you're actually seeing some change. You're seeing some changes in Fitbit right now. And I wanted to go over this article briefly. And can everyone see it on my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Fitbit is working on 2 major Apple Watch rival features that can make this happen. Fitbit may be the world's most successful smartwatch vendor, but if you're primarily interested in activity tracking, health monitoring, you should definitely consider your next wearable device. Boom. Now, in addition to being relatively affordable, products like Fitbit Versa, Versa 2, and the newly released Charge 4 can keep a constant eye on a number of essential wellness indicators. And we'll go through some of those. But you shouldn't be surprised to hear Fitbit is indeed working on matching Apple's life-saving magic, officially planning to seek review by the Food and Drug FDA and global regulation soon for its new ECG feature. Now, if you come down here, still, if you ask us, there's a good chance you'll see Fitbit unveil its first smartwatch with built-in ECG monitoring this year. Now, if you come down here, in the meantime, US-based owners of Fitbit Charge 4, Charge 3, Inspire HR, Inspire Versa 2, all these can actually be turned on and they can actually do atrial fibrillation monitoring with all those devices. The software was actually built in. And starting today, you can join Fitbit's first large-scale virtual study aimed at identifying episodes of irregular heart rhythm suggesting of atrial fibrillation. So this is Fitbit now, as the Apple Watch we talked about before, which is doing a large study. You can participate in Fitbit's atrial fibrillation study right now with all these old devices. The only thing you have to do is you have to be in the United States. You have to be a US citizen to be able to do this. But if you click on this link, this will take you right to the study, and you can sign up if you have help make history, help us to develop and identify atrial fibrillation. And this is how the whole study will work, and you can use it with the Fitbit, with all these versions of Fitbit. You can participate because the actual software in all these watches actually can help identify atrial fibrillation. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because we talked a lot about the Apple Watch, but this is now a very common watch like the Fitbit will be able to do this. So if you're interested in this, and I certainly would be if I was if I lived in the US, this would be great to sign up for this. And this is available now for you if you have one of these devices. And there's a lot of these devices that everybody has, so you can sign up for this and get into the atrial fibrillation study. So that was the first thing, and the second one was I just wanted to the next article that came out this week was Amazon and PillPack. This was coming, and it's been known for about the past 2 years now that Amazon was bringing out a pharmacy, and this is called PillPack. And you'll be able to sign up and get your medicines right on Amazon. This, of course, will be a big concern to CVS and Walgreens. So they both have spent billions of dollars purchasing delivery companies to compete with this. This is a big deal. This is going to have a huge impact on the way medicine is delivered in the United States. And it was just released this week, and you can sign up now. So if you come down here and hit Get Started, you just fill in the forms, and off you go. And anyway, it's a big deal. This was a big announcement this week, and I thought I'd just let everybody know. Okay, I've blabbed along for about 15 minutes. That's about what I'm going to talk about here. Let me just get, where did my screen go to unshare?
Up at the top.
Right.
One comment on the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
There's two strong rumors coming out for Watch 6, which will be out probably later this year. And I find it interesting that one will be an oximeter and the other will be sleep tracking. In other words, it will track your sleeping patterns at night so that if you happen to be a CPAP user, it will augment how many hours your CPAP may be effectively controlling your breathing difficulties while you're sleeping. So just a couple of things that Apple is going to try to stay ahead of the competition like Fitbit and Samsung.
The other one that's going to happen is it will also do your blood pressure. And the Active 2 has just, in the United States, had their blood pressure software turned on as well. So if you have an Active 2, if you upgrade the software, it'll now take your blood pressure. How it does that, I will tell you another time. We don't have time today. It's actually very interesting how this all works. Well, I'll discuss that, but that's coming out as well on the next Apple Watch. Okay, Bob, take it away.
All righty.
Thanks to Avast Software, here's the Security News Roundup for the week ending May 8th, 2020. Another week, another breach. This one from GoDaddy, the world's largest domain registrar, which has disclosed a data breach impacting web hosting accounts and credentials. Security incident came to light after suspicious activity was recently identified on some GoDaddy servers, although the breach itself appeared to date back to October of 2019. Luckily, the breach is limited only to hosting accounts. Since we're on the subject of breaches, a LabCorp shareholder has filed a lawsuit against the laboratory giant, accusing its board of concealing details of two data breaches that affected millions of their patients. The suit also accuses LabCorp of failing to disclose the breach in a widely disseminated public release or SEC filing, adding that the incidents noted in the complaint were unlawfully concealed from LabCorp shareholders. A LabCorp spokesman, of course, said the lawsuit will be vigorously defended. This breach entails user information found in resold Tesla parts. It probably doesn't affect too many of us, but hackers are always looking for ways to steal information. If you own a Tesla, watch out how your used parts are treated. They should have had any information wiped, which apparently doesn't always happen. This week also happens to be the 20th anniversary of the I Love You virus, which affected many people quite some time ago. Some folks haven't learned. They still like to click on links in unknown emails, still think that they can make a fortune by entering contests that they receive via email, and all sorts of bogus and spam emails that they receive. This week, we've also seen an uptick in spoofing. Spoofing is impersonating a user, a device, or a network. These hackers are getting better at the art of deception. There are times you can't tell the real site from the spoofed one. Never click on a link or call a phone number contained in any email where you aren't sure of its authenticity. Ransomware everywhere. In these modern times, you not only need to be cognizant of emails and websites that may affect you and infect you, you also have to be careful of your smart devices. The last thing you want is to have your smart thermostat hold you for ransom. Either pay a fee or it will turn off your heat. Or if you have a smart door, pay a ransom. The next time you leave, I won't let you back into the house. And if you have a home alarm, if you don't pay up, I'll turn off your protection randomly. These are all kinds of things that can happen when you have a smart device of any kind. It needs to be as well protected as the rest of devices, just as you now protect your smartphones and tablets. It's a dangerous world out there, and we need to stay vigilant. That's it for this week. Stay safe. See you next week.
I have one more small little thing that I want to share. I'm getting a little tired of being cooped up in my house because our governor, even though she was right on spot and closed us down very early, now refuses to open things back up. So I sent her this little item.
I have an appeal for our governor. How much longer do you think we can continue with this lockdown? My God, I need a haircut. Please help.
That takes care of me for this week.
That.
Aha, no,
That's
I
great,
wish I
Bob.
did.
Good job.
All right, Hewie, take it away.
Okay, let me share my screen. And there, I better do the sound. Now this week I was going to talk about a program that I use to do some searching. And when I started to work on it, I got carried away. So I'm going to talk about the Microsoft Windows search. I'm going to talk about a program called Simply Everywhere. And then I'm also going to show how I did some searching for files on my Android phone and on my Chromebook. So let's get started with that. I'll full screen this and start it.
I want to show you how Windows handles searches. During the time that you start Windows the first time, it indexes all of the files, and as you add more and more files, it re-indexes on a regular basis, or it's supposed to. Sometimes it gets stuck and you have to do a manual re-index, and when I've done it, it's taken me anywhere from many hours to even several days because of all of the files that I have in my computer. But if I want to do a search, you'll notice down here it says type here to search. That's one way in which you can do it. So you can type in, let's say I want to find WinSig. I type WinSig. It will show me various places on the web and some folders. And I don't want the web results. I want to find it on the computer. There's some documents that it has, but only a few choices. So there are some other ways in which you can do it. So let's clear that. And this time, I'm going to click the button without typing something in it, and I'm going to go up to this PC. And it's going to open this PC, and you'll notice over here it says search this PC, and it shows all of everything that's on the PC, and I am going to type in WinSig. And then I have to click the arrow. Well, actually, I didn't have to. It then finds all of the instances of WinSig, and it'll show you down here how many, and there are 10 items. Now, the program I'm going to show you next, called Search Everything, when I do the same thing to find the word WinSig, I actually found 341 items that said WinSig in it. So it's not very complete either, so it's not the best way to do it. Let's do another one just to combine or to show you HCPRED, and then tell it, go ahead and search. And it finds a total of 10 items, which you'll see here. They're listed here, and I could click on any one of these and open it. But there's 10 items. In the program that I'm going to show you called Search Everything, again, when I typed in HCPRED, it found 34 items. So it's not showing all of the items. So I am not very happy with the indexing for Windows native search. I want to show you a search program that I use that I really like. It's called Search Everything. Let's go ahead and start it up. You'll see how quick it starts. I click it double. It's there. Notice it has already indexed, when the computer started, 1,400,000 9,000 objects or files. In order to do that, it takes about a minute to do a re-index using Windows. It sometimes took me hours and even days to totally re-index my computer to do a search. Now, in everything, there are several ways that you can look for things. You've got a column for name, path, the size of the file, and the last date modified. So you can do searches from this box. So let's say I want to find WinSig. When I do that, because it's alphabetical, what I'm looking for is right here. Now, let's say I had a file that I worked on today, and when I saved it, I don't remember where I saved it to. And it was a PowerPoint, and then I also saved a Word document. Where'd I put it? I don't remember. I just told it to save, and then when I started looking for it, I couldn't find it. Well, I know I did it today, so let's go by date modified. And you can see that when you click it once, it does it down, and then you do it again, and it starts from the latest date. So I know that I'm looking for a Word document and a PowerPoint, and bingo, there are the two files that I'm looking for. And one of them is in Documents, APCUG Online Workshops, and the other one is in on the desktop. So they're easy to find. And let's say I want to go ahead now, I want to open this document. I just double click it. Right from this program. And let me move it into the screen. So we'll close that up. And so we can search. So let's say I want to find HCP Red. And I know it's HCP Red. And there's what I'm looking for. They are little thumbnails, and I've got them. I got them all over the place. It's the same file, but at least I can find. I can never remember where I put it, and I've got it located in several places. So it's good that I can find it by name. I can find it by size, modified. And if you go to their website, and let me go and show you, it's called About Everything. And you can go to the website, and it's www.voidtools.com. And when you go there, there's all kinds of information of how to use the program and to get the latest updates and so on. I've been using it for a long time, and I am really pleased with it. I am not impressed with the search built into Windows, and I have had problems over the years. So let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at my Samsung Android phone and look at the file system on it. What we need to do is find the files program, which in this case is called My Files. And when I click on it, this is what I get. It shows that you can look under several categories. Internal storage, I have 64 gigabytes and only 40 of it. So I'm starting to fill up, so it's probably time to start looking at cleaning it out a little bit. I don't have an SD card inserted. I'm not sure how I put one in, because I believe the case is sealed and I don't know how to get one in it. I probably ought to look up to see if I can do that. I don't use the Samsung Cloud Drive. I got enough cloud drives as it is, but I do have OneDrive, and I have logged into it on this phone, and I've got of a terabyte. I got almost 90% of it free, and then I have Google Drive. I've got 94 gigabytes free on my Google Drive. And what I'm going to do is I want to do some searching, just as I did in the Windows search. And in the Search Everything program on the Windows machine, we're going to try to do a search here on my phone. And I'm going to use the same search criteria. I'm going to type in, let's try WinSig. Oops. WinSig. And it found 5 items here. It found something else. Okay, and then what was the other item we looked at? Was called HCPRED. And it found several items here. And again, these are all on OneDrive. So it's going out and searching my OneDrive files that I store from, and don't forget OneDrive is the Microsoft Cloud. So it's searching that. That's where I have it. I don't have any apparently in the on the Google Drive, but I can do a search on here just as I can on my hard drive on, or when I say hard drive, on my PC, just as I do on the PC. I can do some searches on OneDrive through my telephone, which is an Android phone.
Let's do a quick look at file management and file searching on a Chromebook. And I'm going to use my Chromebook, and what you have to do is open up the Files program from the part of Google, and you'll see on the left I have both a Google Drive and OneDrive, and I also have an SD card in this unit, and plus my files, which are the local files on this Chromebook. Now, I looked for a program like Search Everything that I have on the PC, and there is not a program that will search all of the drives, but I did discover, and I had not tried this before, that you can search each of the drives separately with no problem at all. So let's look for a PDF first of all in my files and see what we get. So we come up here for search and just let's type in PDF and see what we get. Bingo. Just that quick, they were there. And that's what's on my files. And if I look at downloads and then do a search for PDF, we see what's in there. Now let's look on our Google Drive. And if we type in PDF there and enter, it does take a few seconds for this search all of the Google Drive, but it searched my entire Google Drive, which I have almost a terabyte of files. I'm sorry, I have a terabyte of space. I have about 5%, as I remember, full, and so there's not a lot there, but it certainly did find all of the PDFs. And if we look under OneDrive and do a search for PDF and press enter, it searches my entire OneDrive, which I have about a half a terabyte, and it finds all of the files. And I could break that down and look in different folders as a result. You can see it's still finding them. It searches, and then if we could go to the SD card and again do a search for PDF, it finds what's on there. Now let's go back to the OneDrive. So the search in files on a Chromebook is very powerful, which I did not realize. I was again going to, let's say right now we're in Google Drive, I would start looking through the folders and try to find the folder that the file was in that I was looking for. And again, you can search. If I just click, I'm going to touch, well, I can do it with the mouse too. I'll do it date modified. Now it's searching by date, and so it's got May 8th. And then if I do it again, it starts and it goes back to 2017. So it reverses the search for that particular column. So here we're doing alphabetized from the bottom of the alphabet or backwards from Zoom on down. So you can have it search whichever way you want. Okay, let's do this and stop the share. And I see a lot of things popping up in the chat, so I'm not sure what we've got for questions. Did anybody?
Comment,
Sure.
Howie. On the Windows search, it's limited to 10 registered displays by default. If you feel like you're an expert and you want to take a chance, you can hack that in the registry to make it default to 100 or larger or whatever you want. But it is a registry hack, and I wouldn't advise that for most people.
I wouldn't either. And the program that I was showing is free, and it finds as many as there are out there, and also will look inside some of the files and find just the word itself that you're searching for, maybe in the document, and it will also find those.
I've also, like you, used it for quite some time. It's an excellent program. Haven't found anything in searches that's as quick as this one is, and it's very accurate and totally free.
Yep.
This is Jim. I have a question on. I've had a terrible time downloading YouTube videos. I was using a Plion, and it got worse. So how do you guys do it?
I'm doing it through Applian. It's called can't think of the name of it. I'll have to take a look at it.
Jim, I'll send you the link. I use a program, I've used it now for quite a while, called 4K Video Downloader, and it works just great. And I'll send you the link for that. It's free, it's easy to use, and you can use it to download your videos. Okay.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I'll send you that. I'll send you the link. All right, we got to move along because we got to keep going here. I'm going to share my screen now, and we will come up here. And we're going to share computer sound. Okay, everyone can see my screen. We're back here with the pill pack. What I wanted to talk to you today about is if you look up on the right-hand corner of my screen, you'll see, this is of course the Chrome browser. You will see two little extensions here, but you'll see this little item here that is, you guys don't have this. And what is this? If I click on this, all my extensions come up. And these are all the extensions I use. And this is a menuing system for your extensions. Now, what happened this week is I was listening to one of Steve Dotto's shows, and he was talking about his 5 greatest extensions that he used. And I said, Steve, how come you don't have, they were all scrunched up in this little area here. And I said, why don't you have this extensions menu activated? And he had no idea what I was talking about. This feature has been actually available since the Chrome version number 76. And I wrote about this about a year ago. So I wanted to show everybody how to enable this because I think this is a much better way of doing things than having them all scrunched up in this little area. So I made a couple of videos, and I'll play them for you now, and we can, but the first one I'm going to talk about is how to figure out what version of Chrome you have, and we'll run that now. Good morning, it's Ron Brown with Silvercom Computer and Technology Club. Just a short tutorial on how to find out what version of Chrome you are using. Let's have a look now. Let's go across the screen here this is the version of Chrome I have. We'll come across the screen to the little 3-dot menu at the top here. We're going to click on this, and we're going to come down to Help. You click the Help screen, and over to the left left About Chrome. When you click on this, you'll now see what version of Chrome we are using. That is the first way you can do this. Let me go out again. Let's do this one more time. We'll come over to the three-dot menu at the top. We're going to click on the three-dot menu. We'll come down to Settings this time, not Use Help. We'll click on Settings, and in Settings, when you bring this up, we'll come over here to the left and come down to About Chrome. You can click on this, and again, you'll see the version of Chrome that you are running. Ron Brown with Silvercom Computer and Technology Club with a short video on how to find out what version of Chrome you are using. So that's once you figure out what version you're running. Now the next video that I'm going to show you is how to install this this new menu system. As I said, this has been around since version 76, and you'll see this, see how to do this. You'll see when we go into the video, you'll see how to bring up the experimental features in Chrome using the flags menu. It's very simple to do, and just watch the video. Good morning, Ron Brown with Silvercom Computer and Technology Club. Today I want to show you a brief video on how to enable Google Chrome's new extension menu. This extensions menu will likely be enabled by default in the future, moving all extensions from Chrome standard three-dot menu to this new menu. But you don't have to wait. You can enable it today in the current stable version of the browser, Chrome 76. Now, when you bring up your Chrome browser, in your search box, I would like you to add this information. This will bring up a menu that is the extensions toolbar menu, and we'll want to ensure it is enabled. Once it is enabled, you're going to relaunch your Google Chrome browser by hitting the relaunch button now. You then will see a new icon as shown here in your upper menu, and this will be the new extension icon. Clicking this will bring up the new extensions menu you see below on the right hand side. Let me give you an example and show you how to do this. Now, if you look, the pointer is on the right side. We're moving down and we're coming over, and you'll see the extensions menu. When you click this, this brings up your extensions that you have in your Chrome browser. This is the old way of doing it. Let me show you how to do it the new way. We're going to, as I said, enter that information into your browser. You're going to hit enter, and it's going to bring up this menu here. It's going to say extensions toolbar menu, and we're going to enable it. Once it's enabled, you must relaunch your browser, which is happening here. And it'll come up in a second with the Chrome extension menu enabled. And if you look up on the right hand side now, you'll see that first of all it's enabled, and if you look up on the right hand side, you'll see that is the extensions icon, and when you click on that, all your extensions come up in a vertical menu, and you can add them, remove them, pause them, or whatever you want. It's a much faster way of looking at your extensions. So that's the extensions menu, and I thought I would just show you that. Now, one thing I didn't show in the video was if you come down, and you'll see I have two that I've pinned here because I use this so much. This is my LastPass, and this is my print-friendly one. I use these so much through the day that I don't even want to bring them up in the menu. So if you come down and you look at the top one here, if you come over to this three-dot menu, you can pin this, and when you click pin, it then will put it up here in the menu. So if you wanted to keep those there, but I have a lot of extensions, and I think you can appreciate if you had them all scrunched here, it would be really looking pretty awful. So I thought Google would have this menu as a permanent feature in the Chrome browser now, but it isn't. You still have to enable this for this to work, and I think this is really a great feature. All right, and the both those videos, I put the links in the chat, so if you wanted to play them again, you can certainly do that. So it's now 9. Oh, we're almost. Dewey, you're on.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
I can.
Good. Good. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Dewey Close, a Silvercom member in Mesa. I had an interesting incident happen yesterday while I was, which I shared with Ron, and he said, well, why not share it with everyone today? Anyway, I'm one of those very self-confident people who thinks that I'm so smart or too smart to ever fall for an internet scam of any kind. But the bad news is I got caught yesterday, but the good news was I turned tables on them and I cheated them out of their money. So anyway, here's the story. I'm a big fan of the Roku Streaming Stick Plus, and I recently upgraded my standard definition model, 3800R, to the latest 4K model, which is 3810R. My son-in-law, who was at our house yesterday, has been interested in getting a Roku, but didn't need a 4K model, so I offered to give him that standard definition model that I no longer needed. And so I was demonstrating to him about resetting it, doing a factory reset, and then reactivating or activating it as activating the Roku. One of the first steps in activating a Roku is one in which you're asked to enter a sequence of numbers and letters in a Roku, on a computer at a Roku link. It's called roku.com/link. In the process of doing this, an accidental error was made which caused my Roku screen to freeze. Then an overlay screen appeared telling me that I needed to call Roku. I know, and because I needed to upgrade my Roku account. And anyway, I got lost on my text here. I'll be right back. Anyway, like I say, the overlay screen appeared telling me I needed to call Roku and warning me that if I didn't call, the screen would remain locked and my Roku account could be canceled. I called the number and got a fellow with a very heavy foreign accent who explained to me that because I've reached the maximum number of Rokus to register, I needed to upgrade my Roku account. I have registered a lot of Rokus in the last 8-9 years. Anyway, he assured me that the lock screen on my Roku would then be unlocked. He further explained that I needed to give him my email address associated with my Roku account, and then he asked for my Roku password. Since I was still trusting at this point, I gave him my password. He said that I could again have full Roku account access if I upgraded from my current basic Roku account to a standard account, which would be a one-time $85 charge, or I could upgrade to their premium account, which had some extra goodies, for a one-time $130 charge. He also told me that I should have been aware of this because Roku sent me an email on March 15th regarding these changes to Roku accounts. Well, by the way, later on, I went back and checked my Gmail for the month of March, and there was not a single mail from Roku. Well, anyway, he went on to say that I could again have full access to Roku by paying either one of these various fees. Going on, I consequently agreed to the $85 charge, and when he demanded payment, I told him that he needed to send me an invoice by email. He protested, but I persisted, and he finally agreed to send me an email billing, and I hung up. I very quickly then received 3 email notices of the $85 charge from a company called WebStream. First thing I did was look up WebStream, and there ain't no such company. By the way, I was invoice number 46, which probably means it's a pretty young scam. Okay. And by the way, these invoices instructed me to pay by PayPal. Once off the phone, I immediately began researching the Roku website and quickly determined that this was a fraudulent call when I read the following here at the Roku website. This is from Roku. Roku does not charge an activation fee or charge for support. There is never a charge to create a Roku account. Also, our Roku customer support agents will never ask for passwords for your computer or your Roku account. So anyway, the first thing I did then was go into my Roku account and change my password. I did this probably within 15, 20 minutes of ending the call. And it's been 18 hours since the incident, and I've not heard back from them. I went to pay my PayPal account, and there was a listing for an $85 charge, but it had lines through it saying charge canceled. So I won this one. Now, how did this all happen? What I suppose is that this company set up to hack into the Roku website, in effect, and to watch for situations where people had trouble entering the activation code. And they would then flag those and drop their overlay screen with their phone number, call us, and we'll help you, that kind of thing. And so that's how this happened. So I learned something that I didn't know before, that I could get screwed by Roku, but it wasn't Roku, it was a Roku scam. But anyway, got out of it, and all is well. Okay.
Hey, Dewey, good haircut. Joanne did a good job on you.
Oh my gosh, you noticed.
I did. It's not perfect, but he had to have a haircut.
Hi, Joanne.
Oh, say, listen, I just want to let everybody know the thing that Dewey did that was so great was he paid by PayPal. And we talked about PayPal on my shopping channel, on the shopping thing I did with APCUG. It's interesting. Yesterday, PayPal had the most, it was on the news this morning, PayPal had the most volume through the PayPal site since Black Friday of last year. Like, the online shopping is phenomenal. And yesterday was the most volume through PayPal since the last Black Friday. So it's interesting. So well done, Dewey. That probably saved your bacon as well. I wondered, Dewey, where did you get the phone number to call the Roku? Did you get that off the internet?
No, I didn't call Roku. First of all, remember, in this process of trying to activate the Roku, when it was something my grandson did that screwed everything up, and that's when the screen overlay fell right over the activation screen saying your account it's locked up and you'll have to call this number because of a problem and so forth. Yeah, it wasn't a Roku number. It was a California number, by the way.
Right. Okay. All right. We have 4 minutes. Man, these hours go by so quickly. We're almost finished for another day. Anyone have any questions or anything you want to say?
I got a quick comment. Thank you for explaining how to unpin in that menu. I did the PC version of my Chrome browser and added that menu. And when I went to my Chromebook, it wasn't there, so I had to do it again on my Chromebook. But there's a couple of programs that I need that icon at the top without having to go into the menu each time, and I was wondering how to get around that, and thank you for explaining that.
Could I mention something, Ron? Am I still on?
Yep.
Again, I talked about the model of this Roku Streaming Stick Plus, which means it's a 4K HDR model. It's their very latest model. And again, the numbers are important. It's a 3810R. It's currently in very short supply. I managed to order one a couple of weeks ago and haven't even received it yet. When I went on Amazon this morning, they said it would not be available for another week or so. So they're out of stock on it. So apparently it's selling very well and they can't keep up manufacturing.
There was a question in the chat on whether the extensions menu worked on all devices or whether it was just for the Chromebook. No, it's a Chrome browser feature and works on all devices. And it's really a great menu bar. You probably all are using extensions. You may not know you are using extensions, but you have extensions in your browser, and it sure just makes it so much easier to keep track of them all. I don't know why Chrome hasn't made that a permanent feature. I just don't get it, because it just works so well. But anyway, I had it activated since last year. It came out in version 76, so it's available. And the other thing is, if you read articles about it, I mean, that flags menu allows a lot of other. There's hundreds and hundreds of features on Chrome that you can enable. They're not for the general public, but you can certainly enable them and use those features. And it's very easy to do in that flags menu. So you don't have to type the whole thing out. You can just type up to flags, and then it will bring up the whole menu. The other thing is, when you do bring the menu up, all the experimental features you have enabled come right to the top. So you know which ones that you have enabled. And so there's lots of other things you can do with it, but but I would certainly recommend that that you try that. It's very simple to do.
Well, I have one comment I'd like to make.
Sure, Dale.
This is for Bob. I recently installed the advanced security feature on my iPhone, and I really find it helpful and useful. It does a scan of the phone and, of course, the network that you're on, and reports any vulnerabilities that it may find. It does encourage use of the VPN quite a bit, which I don't use a great deal locally, but I can see why that would be valuable at certain times. So, Bob, I just want to give you that plug for Avast.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, they do try to push their VPN. Happens to be good if you're on unsecured connection, but they also want to make sure they get paid. And when you're using the free product, of course, you get the same protection as the paid one. So,
well, it's got to wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock. It's another hour gone by with series. This is our 7th version. Thank you, Hewie. You'll be here next week.
Yep.
Bob, you'll have a tip for us next week. Excellent. So everyone, thank you so much for coming. Spread the word. We're happy to have. We had 65 people today. So we've got another 35 that we could have. So spread the word. We'll see you the same time next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye, all.